was affecting western North Carolina, all of western North Carolina, not just Hickory. 54 hours was the first miracle. The second miracle was that the mortality rate at this hospital was 2.64%, and the average that year had been 8% mortality rate. So we consider that a miracle too, the blessing that came with that. And the final, or the other, one of the other major miracles, I should say, was that the hospital at its inception was integrated in the midst of segregation. Three major miracles that occurred right here on this spot.
And the mural that we will dedicate later on today actually depicts that.
Exactly.
It has a Caucasian nurse holding an African-American child in 1944 North Carolina, where we know that child was going to make it because of the efforts of the folks in this area to erect a hospital in such a short period of time.
This is awesome. Okay, hold on, I'm going to ask another question. So, and I like to do a bit shorter than this because then I just upload it
Any way you
faster.
like.
This is
It's no
perfect.
problem at all.
Okay. All right, so okay, so we know that the hospital was erected in such a fast time. And so tell me about what's happened since then. What's happening today?
Oh, okay. What's happening today is, one, we are going to dedicate this park with a newly named as the Miracle of Hickory Park, as Rick just said a few minutes ago. And also, we're going to dedicate that mural downtown today. We are continuing to raise money, our local Rotary clubs. There is also here a post-polio group called the Piedmont Post-Polio Group, which is a Rotary Corps group, sort of, in that situation. And we've been meeting for over almost 5 years now, I believe. And that group, the Hickory Rotary Club, I'm the liaison to that group. And so they are continuing to meet. They were actually, with our former mayor, Rudy Wright, there was a discussion made about doing something in this year. Also, Rick's club, the Sunrise Club.
I can share that.
I'll let you do that.
Glad to.
Yeah.
2 years ago, members of our club, the Hickory Sunrise, went to the city to talk about putting a monument on this very site, hoping that it would be completed, or at least started, this year, the 75th anniversary of the Miracle of Hickory. And so it's pretty good for us today to be able to see this come to fruition.
Awesome. We'll do another one. That's perfect. Okay. All right. So let's do. Did you have something you wanted to add first about that?
I mentioned the Rotary clubs. I wanted to mention that a lot of what I wanted to mention was that the community is coming together again in supporting this project. And the Rotary clubs have been at the forefront of this, along with the Piedmont Post-Polio Group, but also businesses and other organizations in our community. The United Arts Council gave us a grant of $4,000 for this, for the mural and for the project. And we're hoping to do a number of things out here, as well as the monument that was downtown on the square is coming here, but revitalized.
That's correct. And it's
Sorry. Okay. No, that's okay. We're okay.
it's just a natural for the Rotary clubs in this area to get together. Since Rotary International, one of the main focuses is the eradication of polio. Polio was a big thing here 75 years ago. It's just natural for our Rotary clubs to come together on these projects.
One other thing that's happening, actually was happening yesterday and is continuing to happen today. Yesterday was World Polio Day, as all Rotarians out there know. And yesterday in Hickory, the Hickory City Schools, all 9 schools participated in raising funds for polio. They did various things. It wasn't just pennies for polio. It was a variety of things that the different schools did in competition with the classes and things like that to raise money. And we'll be collecting that money early next week from the schools.
That's awesome. This is all good stuff.
Somewhere you need to mention that the events in this area led the epidemiologists to know that the polio was caused by a virus.
Oh, well, you just gave me information I've never heard any of them say, that the epidemiologist.
And the committee that put the tower up, which I was a member of.
Yes, she was. I was going to say.
We went to the
Well, come over here and tell me so I can shoot video of you.
We can shoot video of you, Miss
Absolutely.
Smith.
Y'all scoot on over a little bit more because I'm trying to get those
gosh,
cards out.
I'm
This is
not
Mary.
all prepared
All
for
right.
that.
No, it's okay. It's very casual. Hold on. All right, let me just get Mary in here. Okay, tell me what you were going to tell me about this.
I was on the committee that put the Tower of Miracles up, and we went to the two middle schools, Northview and Grandview, and presented a program telling them about polio, because of course they would not be familiar.
How are you, sir?
And they continued.
I am good. Good to see you.
What was his name again?
I'm just hanging out.
There you go.
How are you?
Good, good. Hope you are.
I'm good. Yeah.
I'm still working on getting Ken Burns to read your book and shoot a picture of it.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well,
they
just let me know
treated
when you do.
the black children and white children equally in this hospital. And when they closed the hospital down, they moved it to Charlotte, and the black children are here in Hickory, we're so proud of that. That we treated them equally. And it was also, polio was so horrible that we started the train. They
love their
shut the
website.
windows. You know, what Hickory's just over the fence. It was a very dreaded thing, of course. It still is.
Was the most scary thing that happened. It was the most scary disease at the time. I remember well when the vaccine came out. My mother
You want to get on camera, Eva?
rushing us to the public health department.
So shy.
But one of the things that's happening today as well is we're keeping the inspiring history of Hickory and Catawba County alive through this project. And there are additions, I believe, that will be done here. Just so those folks in Rotary know, there is a museum downtown in what is known as the Lyerly House that is free and has a iron lung for a child in it, and has other artifacts and things that came from the 1944 Miracle of Hickory. I was just informed that as a result of what went on here, the epidemiologists discovered that the ideas that led them, or the information that led them to understanding that it was a virus, and led then eventually to the cure for polio that most of us as children were fortunate, but the generations before us were not at all. So it's been a great project. It's a great part of this history. We like to keep that inspiring history alive when we can.
Great video.
Well, when it's unveiled, this will be the signage for the Miracle of Hickory. And we have, they have it covered up. And then we will see this right here adjacent. And then these are the artist rendering of what will be provided.
Still trying to get an idea of where.
This is the asphalt. This is the dumpster. The actual sign's right there, but the office is not done.
It's not done.
The office.
Don't ask me.
I mean, I'm just assuming. Yeah, it says
Existing building.
it doesn't say anything about the door.
That's probably the doorways are probably in here. So I would assume, no, you have a walkway to nowhere.
Well, there's a bridge to nowhere somewhere out there.
I mean,
This is the preparation for the unveiling of the Miracle of Hickory memorial site that will be constructed here in commemoration of the development and success of the hospital that served the polio victims in this area, and provided the basic data that allowed epidemiologists to recognize that indeed polio was a virus born and spread illness.
The Greenway is going to be bringing a bus over here to
And troops are still coming. It is 11:10. I can't read my watch. 10:52. We still have 8 minutes to go before this all starts.
Look at the video. Oh my God.
Club President Rick Van Vett and District Governor 7670 Tiffany Irvin preparing to make the presentation on behalf of Rotary.
The district governor had a
Cliff Moon, current area Rotary member and liaison with the polio survivor group.
Thank you for being here to join in celebrating the 75th anniversary of the Miracle of Hickory, a monumental and defining event in Hickory's history. It is certainly a privilege to be here before you as we dedicate this park to commemorate the strength, the innovation, and the compassion that was so brilliantly displayed through the work and efforts of a caring community that has become known as the Miracle of Hickory. On behalf of the Hickory City Council, some of which are here today, Mr. Danny Seaver, Ms. Jill Patton, and Mr. David Williams, I am pleased to share with you today the new official name and signage of the Miracle of Hickory Park, as well as the renderings for the Memorial Garden and the Tower of Miracles. This park, where we stand today, was the site of Hickory's historic polio hospital. In 1944, a polio epidemic spread across western North Carolina. In rapid response, the Hickory community rallied together to construct an emergency hospital to treat infantile paralysis known as polio. The hospital was conceived and built within just 54 hours. It experienced one of the lowest mortality rates in the country, thanks in part to the revolutionary Kennedy method of treatment, and was integrated, accepting patients of all races during a time of segregation. Not only was this a miracle, but it was the determination and willingness of people to do the seemingly impossible for the benefit of others. That is what we are celebrating today. Our people and their passion for others continues to make Hickory a great place to live, work, and raise a family. Yesterday, October 24th, was established more than a decade ago by Rotary International and is recognized as World Polio Day in commemoration of Jonas Salk, the developer of the polio vaccine. According to the website endpolio.org, if polio is not eradicated completely in the next 10 years, about 200,000 new cases will occur around the globe each year. Today we are here to celebrate and to commemorate our defining moments in history, but let us not forget our main goal, which is to eradicate polio forever. This commemoration and celebration has truly been a community-driven effort. It is a source of pride for our entire city, and it has been gratifying to see the community come together to ensure the memory of the Miracle of Hickory is never forgotten. I want to recognize the Miracle of Hickory commemoration planning team made up of polio survivors, fellow Rotarians, and all of our community partners for their efforts in preserving this legacy. At this time, I would ask for those who are present who are polio survivors to raise their hand, please, so they could be recognized. I also want to thank all of our Rotary clubs in the area for their contributions to our community locally, as well as their global efforts in the fight against polio. Additionally, I would like to recognize and thank Costin Holtzman, who is contributing to the seating area by the new Tower of Miracles as his Eagle Scout project. Also, thank you to McGill Associates. They have done a great job with the design work for the tower. We also appreciate the Hickory Music Factory and the many educational opportunities they bring to our community. It is a pleasure to have them located here at the Miracle of Hickory Park. In conclusion, our state magazine wrote an article last year on the Miracle of Hickory, and it was summed up well by saying, "Polio City, once a moniker of fear, becomes a badge of honor. That is just one testament to the resiliency and strength of our community, both in the past and now in the present. With that, I am pleased to introduce Mr. Rick Van Dett, an active member of our community and the president of the Sunrise Rotary Club. Mr. Van Dett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. As Mayor Guest mentioned, the eradication of polio is a Rotary international effort that's been going on for many years. And so it's only fitting that the Rotary clubs in the Hickory area have come together to help commemorate the miracle that happened here 75 years ago. 2 years ago, a couple of us members of the Hickory Sunrise Rotary Club went to city officials and said, we would like to sponsor a monument on the site of the Miracle of Hickory Hospital. And it does my heart good to know that that effort is coming to fruition soon, as a Miracle Tower is going to be put on the site a little bit further behind us right now, and the Hickory Sunrise Rotary Club is going to sponsor the upkeep and maintenance of that monument that commemorates what happened here 75 years ago. And as the president of the Rotary Club of Hickory Sunrise, I would like to thank city officials, City Manager Warren Wood, Mayor Hank Guest, City Council members, for allowing our Rotary Club to sponsor and to partnership with the city in this tremendous effort. I'm very, very grateful for that opportunity. I'm also grateful to introduce to you the district governor of Rotary, District 7670, which encompasses a lot of the western part of North Carolina and all the Rotary clubs in Catawba County. Would you please welcome District Governor Tiffany Irvin.
All right. We're going to unveil the sign. Cliff, I know that you want to say something. I just know that. Real quick, he's got 3 minutes.
They always only give me 3 minutes
Go
before
ahead,
they
go ahead,
counsel and
Cliff.
everything. Again, it's my pleasure to be here as well. 2 things I wanted to mention to everybody here that most of you probably already know. One, there is a continuing process to our dedication ceremonies today. Downtown, in just about 20 minutes, no, excuse me, at 12 noon, we will be dedicating the Miracle of Hickory mural as well. The mayor will, and other members of council and others will be there. Hope you all can get down there. We very graciously, Greenway Transportation has provided a bus that is right over there for, especially for those of our crowd here today who have had polio and would like to go down. Parking is at a premium right now downtown because of all the wonderful work we're doing downtown and is being done downtown to transform Hickory, and it's just amazing, and it's amazing to be a part of that. So also, as long as the bus has seats, any of the rest of you are welcome to ride the bus. The bus will go downtown to the city parking lot where at the mural site, and it will bring you back here if your cars are here, so you won't have to drive because of that. And it has been my privilege to be the chairman of the Rotary Committee that put all of the plans in motion. I do want to give credit right now, and I'll do it again, to those members of the Piedmont Post-Polio Group who over almost the same time as Rick and the Sunrise Club were putting that before the council. They came up and talked to former Mayor Rudy Wright about we had to have something downtown as well. And so it's coming today. So we're so proud to commemorate all of these events. And thank you very much.
Unveil.
Come on one side of the city, comes on the other. All right?
Hear that shit? Lord. You guys come on up. Let's get the city staff up here as well.
Okay.
Yades. Come on up here, city staff. Come on up here.
Let us know when.
Y'all tell us when.
Wait.
Just turn around, I guess. Can't stay in front of you.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
And obviously the renderings are over here of what the garden is going to look like and what the monument is going to look like. I don't want to put him on the spot if Kevin's here. Do we have any kind of idea what the time frame is for that? Kevin, do we have any idea on the time frame? I'm going to put him on the spot here in front of everybody. What's the time frame on this? Do you have any idea?
Probably 3 months. It'll come to council, this next council meeting, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, all right. So look forward to seeing the renderings come to fruition. All right, thank you for being here today. Please come down to the parking deck beside Lindy's Furniture to continue and see the mural, and we'll continue the celebration at 12 o'clock downtown at the parking deck. Thank you.
So we have a picture of the mural that's been dedicated to support the Miracle of Hickory efforts. I talk into my camera so the people watching on YouTube can see what's going on, understand it. But this commemorates not only the Miracle of Hickory, but the fact that we overcame the limits of segregation. At the time, we had 3 cadres of nurses from New Jersey that were black, and they worked here, I think, through the whole first year of the program. And quite a remarkable effort on everyone's part. Remarkable effort. That tree doesn't obscure that sign from this side. From out on the front it does, but it looks okay from here. That looks great. People will get a feel and an understanding that this was an important event in the life of this city. You know the author of the book, The Miracle of Hickory? Mm-hmm. He's here. Okay, Richard, yeah. What I don't know is who the artist is. They told me he was here, the muralist. Oh well, I'll catch it during the presentation, I'm sure.
You'll know him when you see him because he's got paint all over his pants.
Okay.
He's painted.
I understand.
Right over in the corner. Right over there.
Oh, okay, excellent.
That's Hunter.
Excellent. We've got all the static presentation and the presenters, but I'm coming over here to the corner to buttonhole the artist that created the mural. Hunter, I want to tell him that we like what he's done and it is beautiful. Appreciate your effort.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry that tree from my standpoint gets in the way of the beauty of your work, but it's there and it's great. Thank you.
Built into it. It's custom.
Yeah, understood. Thank you.
Hey, sir.
Okay, so this is the official presentation ceremony for the mural itself. I guess I'm going to have to sneak up so I can keep my field of view.
I did maybe. You did.
Oh man, yeah. I need my glasses for that.
A lot of those people.
A lot of people realize 50 years.
Come on, Cliff, get it started.
Lock and load.
Yeah, we're hungry. Yeah, exactly.
I've done it before.
Thank you for saying.
And I also,
I really appreciate that.
the mayor's voice isn't my preacher's voice, so all of y'all can come on closer.
You're saying the mayor doesn't have a big mouth?
I was kind of saying that it was less than mine.
I wouldn't go that far.
It was less than mine. I see what you did, so, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. So I'll stand before City Council for my 3 minutes again. So, but anyway. No.
Speak up.
I know we're a little early, but I think probably most of those that are going to be a part of this today are here. And so I think, because also I don't want folks that have needs to either go to lunch or have physical limitations at all to have to stand here and we don't have chairs. So I'd like to go ahead, if it's okay with everybody, unless somebody knows that we're waiting on somebody in particular that you think I should wait. I'm more than glad to wait. So Hunter, where is Hunter? He's supposed to be up. I told you to come up here. He's supposed to be up here. No, thank you, because I asked him to. So, I know it sort of shock everybody, and no, but you're great. So it is my privilege to welcome you here today. My name is Cliff Moon. I am the chair of the, this is a long title, but of the Miracle of Hickory 75th Anniversary Commemoration Committee that has been meeting for about almost 2 years now at various, and has brought us to this part of our commemoration year, the dedication of this mural. I want to, and so I thank you for being here. I want to recognize a number of people. First, I'd like to recognize the members of the 75th Anniversary Commemoration Committee that are here. So if you're here and you're a part of the committee, please raise your hand and let people know. I know there's several of us here, and so we're here. So I will point out that all of the Rotary clubs of Hickory and almost all of the ones from the county were represented on this committee, and that the Piedmont Post-Polio group had a number of folks that were represented on the committee, as well as we had some other citizens from the community, and as I'll get to in a minute, Professor Richard Eller, who was our historian. So I want to recognize also the members of the Piedmont Post-Polio group that are here, and I think they're all pretty much lined up on the wall, and Jack's over here, but can y'all raise y'all's hand? Let people wave at the crowd, say hey. I'm so grateful for them. And they have a monthly meeting every second Tuesday, except I think December sometimes that we don't, but we just love having them, have great programs, and it's a support group for a group of people who've had polio somewhere in their life. I want to mention one of those who's could not be here today, and I know I'm going to miss somebody and whenever you do this, but Steve Thomas is also a member of that group, and I've been in Rotary with Steve for a long time, and I did not know that he had had polio as a boy until we were in this group, and so it's I just want to recognize him as well. Some of these folks were actually patients at the 1944 Miracle of Hickory hospital. Others were not, and others had had polio at a different time. But at any rate, they're very much a part of this, and they were instrumental in us moving forward with all that's happening today. I also want to recognize any of our elected officials that are here. I think the mayor's going to name the city council, but are there any? I haven't seen. I've looked around, but are there any county commissioners here? I know they had talked about coming, and so any legislators? I didn't see you either, so I wanted to make sure I didn't miss you there. And we do have a number of our city council members here, our mayor and our most recent former mayor, and then there are others of you who are city officials. And everyone here that's not a city official should be so thankful for the work these people do day in and day out for our city. So Warren and everybody else, would you raise your hands if you're a city staff member? I know y'all don't like Daisy, but your hands up. Okay. I mean, people need to know who you are so they can find you when we want to get something done. Okay, so anyway, is there anyone here beside, and I know Professor Eller is, where's Richard, by the way? There he is down there. Who is here. There have been several books written and several plays and things about the Miracle of Hickory. Are there any authors here? I just wanted to meet the authors. I know I've got an artist, so and I wanted to make sure of that. But and Richard has written a wonderful book on that. And in that regard, by the way, Professor Eller is also the author at CVCC of, and I need in the box over there, not that box behind you, not that. So one of those. This video called Miracle. And the reason I took the time to pull this out is we'll sell them to you for $10 a piece today. And all the proceeds go to help the Miracle. So if anybody wants to chunk in another $10 and have this, it's a great, great, great story. And if you've never seen it, you really should have one. Oh, okay, so $10. You can see me about that. I'm good at taking money. So, also, all of the members of the Catawba County Rotary Clubs, I'd like to recognize you. Would you please raise your hands? Yeah, you. Way to go. Lulu, that's okay. We're so thankful, as well as we are very thankful to have our District Governor, Tiffany Irvin, here with us today. So, I'm sure I missed somebody that is really crucial to this whole thing. Oh, I have. His name is Hunter Spiegel, and he is our artist. And I want you to recognize this is the guy that did that, and we're so grateful for him. Very quickly, I want to express my appreciation for the corporate and business donors to this project so far. That means if you are a corporate or business person out there and you want to join this group, we're glad to have you. A sign code, Donna Wright. Sure Tape, Vanguard Furniture, Gutter Pro USA, White Tire Company, Bass Smith Funeral Home, Third Rock Plumbing, Creative Label Solutions, Pepsi Cola, and Cargo Transformers so far. We're excited to have them. I also want to add into that my thanks for Camille Sterling and Greenway Transportation for providing the bus for some of us to get back and forth, thinking that we were never going to find a parking place downtown today. So, and I cannot forget our appreciation for the United Arts Council, who provided a $4,000 grant early in our fundraiser. Finally, thank you to every individual donor whose gifts have brought us this far. I do want to emphasize that the committee is continuing to accept donations. I think I already did that, but I'll do it again. We're still continuing to do it, which will enable us not only to pay for this beautiful mural, this great work, but will also help us to put, hopefully, a narrative informational kiosk, a roll of donors, and perhaps some other additions out at the Miracle of Hickory Park. So thank you to each and every one of you for being here today to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the Miracle of Hickory and the dedication of this wonderful, dramatic, and iconic wall mural. I'd like to introduce at this time Richard Eller for a few comments about the history of the Miracle of Hickory.
Thank you. I know it's a cloudy day, but we stand under a very tall shadow, and that is the people who were part of this hospital when it originally happened. I want to use the words of Jack Williams, who I had the privilege to interview and hang out with for a bit, when he said, adversity is bad, but it's not all bad, that we learn from it. And I think the thing that we learn from this event is just how good we are together, how important it is that we confront any problem that we have as united as we possibly can. Because what this event showed us is who we are as citizens of not only this town, but this county and this region. It would have been easy to run. Some people did. But when it came to Dr. Hahn, Nurse Allen, and Dr. Wims, they said, we've got to do something. They had no idea that this was going to be a success, or that 75 years later, we would commemorate it with something like that, which is beautiful. And so they put their head down and did what they had to do to help the youngest citizens who this silent killer was taken from them. And they did it. They did it in a way that was not only helpful and served a function, but it became national news, which is what allowed us with the documentary to be able to show it as such, because everyone in Hickory was known throughout the country in January of 1945 when that short to raise funds for the National Foundation came about. It is a phenomenal event that I think really defines the character of Hickory in a way that nothing else does. I've said before, it was Hickory's worst moment when it hit, and it's our finest moment with our response to it. Now, Jack admits that when he went into that hospital, he didn't know if he was going to come out alive, as many of these patients did, you know, how they saw it. But when it comes right down to it, it was the community over-giving on that site that we were just at. In 54 hours, they created enough of a functional hospital to accept patients. And from there, they just kept making it better and better and better until after 454 patients with less than a 3% mortality rate, they closed that hospital with their mission accomplished, because many of those patients went on to Charlotte for further rehab. Some were able to go home. It says something. And I think as you leave here today, you need to take something with you, and that is, together, we're better. And together, we need each other. And these people are giants in terms of what they went through, but how they struggled and how they fought valiantly with the help of the community to overcome this. And I think in some ways we're pretty well off today, because artists like Hunter and the committee embody that coming together for the community. We just need to be able to do it on everything else. But as far as this project, I'm glad to see this here, and I'm glad it's going to be here for a good long time. So I hope you bring family, I hope you bring friends. If you want to know more about how this event worked, we invite you from the Historical Association of Catawba County about 3 blocks over to Harper House, where the Hickory History Center is, and you can see an exquisite telling of this with artifacts. We've got an infant iron lung. We've got the ledger that showed the people coming in. Jack and everybody I've been privileged to be able to talk to about this shows up in there with the diagnosis and the date that they were entered for treatment. We've got images of it. We've got Polio Pete. We've got all sorts of things that will give you a better understanding about what went on, so therefore you can take pride in leaving there knowing that you're part of that community. So thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy the mural.
Now I'd like to introduce to you someone who, to me, doesn't need introduction, a local young man who, our artist, Hunter Spiegel, for a few comments from him as well. Hunter?
First of all, I'd just like to say I'm very honored and delighted that we're all here today to dedicate the mural. Just like the story, it takes a great team for something like this to happen. There's so many people that have committed over, 2 years now?
About close to
2 years. I got on the project about a year ago, so 2 years people have been dedicating and sacrificing. I'd love to thank the post-polio members.
Yeah.
They've enlightened me so much about the deepness of our history that I had no clue was even there. For them, I'm now smarter and grateful to know more about my city. I would also personally like to thank the Rotarians who've helped do this whole thing and invite me in and allow me to be a part of this project. So, I'd like to thank this man personally, Cliff Moon, who's been there by my side the whole way and has become a great friend of mine along this journey. And just very thankful for Cliff and everything he's done. Family who's been patient with me, who have kept me focused, who stood beside me, and without them I could not have done it. It's been a lot of late nights working on the wall and early mornings, and so I'm excited to dedicate the wall, but I'm also excited to be able to go home tonight and sleep every night with my family. So that's something I really want to thank my family. What it has is surprised me that, and not really, but this town amazes me. Y'all have proven that Hickory really does care about the arts and it cares about the history of the city. And it's creating and paving a pathway for public arts to go forward. I mean, wow, the mural, it really does look right on this wall. It's meant for this wall. And I'm so excited that we got it on the wall and we worked hard to get it on the wall. And just thankful for Lindy's for allowing us to use the wall. But this wall is really meant for, I mean, this mural is really meant for this wall. There was some discussion on where it was going to go, but this is the right move for it. So I'm excited that So yeah, the art, you know, was about the humanitarian love. And just like the project coming together, cities coming together, nurses treating patients, humanitarian love was the key in success to the Miracle of Hickory. And this is what I wanted to show a painting of, and I feel like we did it justice. The mural itself is packed with a lot of significance, a lot of symbolism, a lot of imagery, things that grabs our attention. The story will unfold on the wall as we begin to want to know more about it. And for this, it also is adding a beautiful color addition to our city. And it's, you know, like I said, we're a growing community and public art is growing now. So this is a big step in the right direction. You know, public art is extremely important. You know, it allows us to involve art in our daily lives. And when that happens, it allows us to stop and reflect upon whether it's a historical thing or things that relate to our own life. So when these things happen together, it creates a color and vibrancy that ripples throughout the city. So public art, for me in my world, is at the top of the list, where to bring a community together, it gives the city identity, and when it does that, it unifies us on a path. And so this mural, I feel like this just really brings us all together in that, and will allow everyone to stop and take a look. It's been a tremendous honor to work on this wall, and I'm so fortunate to be able to do this. And I would like to say that I think this mural will inspire a lot of young artists and bring about more public events. And I hope it inspires future corporations and businesses and city council members to want to be able to give these gifts of murals to the city, and hopefully from here on out we see a lot more of these. And I just want to say thank y'all to everyone. This has been the biggest and most meaningful project I've ever been on in my entire life, and I'm extremely proud of it, and I hope y'all are too.
Proud.
Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Cliff. Good afternoon, and thank you for being here to join us as we continue the celebration of the 75th anniversary of the Miracle of Hickory. First and foremost, what I would like to do is specifically introduce our council and our former mayor, Mr. Jeff Klein. Also, we have with us today Mr. Danny Seaver, Mr. David Williams, and Miss Jill Patton. We have some other members of the council that weren't able to be here today, but I did want to recognize those who are here with us today. About an hour ago, we held a dedication ceremony at the newly named Miracle of Hickory Park, which is on the grounds of the original hospital built in 1944 to treat patients in the polio epidemic that spread across western North Carolina. About a year ago, the idea for the mural to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the Miracle of Hickory originated, but I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that the seed was planted long before that by the women from the Piedmont Post-Polio Group, which has members who were patients in the hospital in 1944, and obviously that some of those have already been recognized and they're here today with us. So we especially want to thank those that are here today and those that were part of the original concept.
That's right. We're going to put Polio Pete. That's right.
We invited Post-Polio Group from Shelby and Nashville to be here with us, and if you are, we're glad you're here to celebrate this very beautiful dedication with us. About 2 years ago, October, or no, it's February, Mayor Wright paid us the honor of visiting our Post-Polio Club, and we mentioned to him why there was no flag, no art on the benches, nothing about the Miracle of Hickory, our pride. So he says, well, maybe we can get something started. So our Cliff Moon, our liaison of the Rotary Club, went back and told the Rotary Club, and he made an appointment for us to visit City Council, Art Council, and I mentioned this very thing to them, why there was nothing about the Miracle of Hickory in Hickory. So it got started. It took a while. Cliff has worked and worked and worked to get meetings started and raise money for this project, which he says help And also, all the people that have been on council meetings, their guests, appreciate all of you that have worked so hard to get this started. And our post-polio group here is most appreciative of all of this. We feel very proud of what you have done. Thank you very much.
I would be remiss if I didn't invite Councilman Lael to come out of the crowd and join us up here. And Charlotte Williams, Councilwoman Williams, has also joined us today and wanted to point that out.
Mayor told me I didn't have to since I'm coming off council.
No, you're still there though. You're still responsible.
You must have come after I did introduction. Randy Eisenhower. Chairman Eisenhower here? Chairman Eisenhower, come on up.
Oh, there's I mentioned county commissioners earlier and just couldn't find you. Come on up, Randy. Thank you. Thank you. Randy Eisenhower is the chairman of the county commissioners, and we're glad to have him with us as well. Did we miss anybody else out there? You're all wonderful. So, okay, I need that. Just hand it to me. Okay. So,
Like a big check.
it's not a check, because I wish it was. But anyway, but somebody can provide one anytime. I'm good. So, now I would like to officially dedicate the Miracle of Hickory mural, and to do so, to read from the commemorative plaque which will be placed on the wall with the mural. Now this isn't the plaque, it's a mock-up that Sign Code Donna Wright did for us, and that will look like the plaque though when it's finished, when the plaque comes in. So in commemoration of the 1944 Miracle of Hickory, remembering the resolve, determination, and compassion of the citizens of Hickory and Catawba County during the 1944 polio epidemic. Dedicated October the 25th, 2019, 75th Anniversary Commemoration Committee, representing area Rotary Clubs and the Piedmont Post-Polio Support Group. We have the names of the committee on here, and then there's Mayor Guess and City Manager Warren Wood that will be on this plaque, which will be added to the mural. So I wanted to do that. So we have officially dedicated it, and I'm going to let, for the last amen, I want our governor, District Governor Tiffany Irvin, to say just a quick word.
Thank you so much for allowing me to join you guys this morning. It is such an honor to see what your community has done, and I am going to do my very best to share this story with Rotary all over the world, because you deserve that. And I just wanted to say thank you. I also wanted to share some really good news with you, and that is on yesterday, on World Polio Day, the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, which is a really long name of a committee, officially declared the wild polio virus version 3 as eradicated from the world. So we are very grateful. We still have a little ways to go, but as of today, we are down to 2 endemic countries. So while we here in the United States no longer see current cases of polio being identified on a daily basis, they are still happening in Pakistan and Afghanistan. And it is important that we don't forget that polio is only a plane ride away. And so we must not give up the fight to end this disease. And our support group members, our Rotarians, our community leaders, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping us to keep that message alive with our young people and with people who still don't even realize that polio still exists. So we will not give up. We are this close, but we will eradicate this disease. Thank you so much for what you all are doing.